Morning, everybody. You want to go for a little bit of a walk with me? I haven't taken you around to see the garden or anything yet this summer, and I thought you might like a little bit of an update. We've had some hit or misses with the garden this year. It's been a really weird summer. So let me turn this camera around and I'll take you out to see Virginia first. This little flock comes up every morning whenever I come outside, or anybody comes outside, because Travis is the one who gives them. Travis is the one who gives them their scratch feed in the morning, and so they come over here waiting for him. But it's gonna be a little while, guys. He's still in bed. That brown one right there, she is, she's the one that hatched out a bunch of chicks earlier this spring, and she ended up with 9, and 7 of them lived. One of them is the one that I adopted. I'll show you her. We named her Alice. Not her, the one that we raised. We named her Alice, and I'll show you her in a minute. And then there's another mama hen around here who has a bunch of little fluff balls. I can't get an accurate count, but I think she has 8 or 9. If I see them, I'll try to get them on video. So that's Alice. I'll insert a picture of her when we first got her. We thought she'd been abandoned, and turns out that she probably wasn't. And I'm wishing we would have just left her, but look how big she's gotten. And you can see Jenny's that back behind her. But I've got her in this dog cage out here in Jenny's pen. I don't want to let them in together until after the winter, because Jenny is handicapped, and at this point I don't think Alice would hurt her because Alice is young. But Jenny might actually hurt Alice. Chickens are mean to each other. If you don't raise chickens and don't know chickens, chickens can be really mean to each other. So, plus the fact that Alice is light enough that she could fly over the fence and my dogs might get her. So yeah, so she's in here to be kept protected from predators. She's kept in that cage, and I just leave her in there overnight. Her cage is completely, predator proof, so hopefully she'll stay safe. And then Jenny, she goes in there at night, but I let Jenny out during the day, and they kind of hang out together. And this winter I'll have Jenny and Alice in separate cages in the shed, where we can keep heat light on them. And maybe, being in close quarters, like right next to each other all winter, they'll become buddies, and next spring we won't have a problem. Alice is not a very nice chicken. She's just not a very nice chicken. I put my hand in there to take care of her, to feed her and whatnot, and she tries to peck me. And so I'm really debating, next spring I might just let her become free range and let her hang out with the rest of the gang, because I'm not that fond of her because of how mean she is. And if she's going to be mean to me or Virginia, who I love, then she's gonna be out of here. She's gonna have to fend for herself. Anyway, yeah, there's that little young pullet who's not very nice. At least at this point, she's not very nice. Alright, so let's go check out the rest of the garden. Don't mind our grass. We never had a very good yard anyway. We live on a sand hill, and grass just doesn't want to grow. But we had a really hot, dry spell the end of June, first part of July, and it killed the grass down. Well, then a week ago, 2 weeks ago maybe, we had a ton of rain, so parts of it have come back and are needing mowed, especially up there around the house. Travis doesn't do a very good job of trimming things. But so parts of our grass look dead and parts of it look like a jungle. But that's typical for us. We have a terrible yard and it never looks good. We've stopped trying to make a nice yard. So here's a flower garden in front of my house. That's the forsythia bush that I pruned. And I definitely am going to prune that again soon, because it's really gone crazy. And then here's my butterfly bushes, which are doing beautifully. That's called a Live Forever. And I planted, I don't know if you remember, I planted 5 hollyhocks bulbs, and only 3 of them came up. And none of them are producing any flowers, so that was kind of a fail. And that's pretty much all I have planted in here. I did plant a few marigolds in here, but they're getting kind of overshadowed by the rest of the stuff. I'm just going to have to remember next spring not to plant anything else in here, because between the butterfly bushes and Live Forever, and then I have a few irises, it pretty much takes it up. And here's another spot where Travis needs to trim. And then my honeysuckle vine, the big main honeysuckle plant that was old, that has been here for probably 15 years, had died off, but it left little like baby ones that are growing. There have been no blooms on it this year, but I'm glad to see that it's growing. I love honeysuckle. I love the way it smells. So maybe next year we'll have some nice flowers on the vine again. But there's a bunch down here I need to train to grow up the trellis. Eek! They're following so I can feed them. And these are our laying hens. They're my dad's laying hens. They're actually in the yard where my brooder house is. Scott opened up a space, so they have all that yard over there and then all of this yard here, because we're not going to do meat chickens this year. I just needed a break from it. I didn't want to do it. It's a lot of work, a lot of worry, and I just wanted a break. We still have chicken from last year in the freezer, and we bought 2 pigs from a friend, non-GMO raised pork that we'll be getting in our freezer soon. So between what's left in the freezer of our chicken and 2 pigs, that should be enough meat to last us for a year. And I just needed a break. There you can see them going from the one side to the other. I'm going to go ahead and give these guys some scratch since I'm out here. Yeah, that's where we always put the scratch. You can tell there's no grass. But I threw some over there for these roosters, so maybe there's less fighting. I'm going to go over and give this is what we call the big house when we're talking about the different chicken houses. This is our big house chickens. And then there's the brooder house, and then the chickens that are in my yard are in the blue house. So I'm going to come over here and give them some scratch too. We need to extend their yard even more. We want to extend it out. But I don't know if we're going to, because once these guys die off, I'm not going to get any more chickens. So. Alright, so here are my pepper plants. They are just not doing so great this year. We moved them because, you know, you're supposed to do like crop rotation or whatever. And they ended up getting some sort of a bug chewing on the leaves. And I sprayed them with Castile soap and water mixture, which helped, but I didn't get to it as soon as I should have. So, especially this plant took a beating. I've got 2 jalapeno pepper plants, and they're so weedy. Honestly, I just haven't given as much attention to the garden this year. We were doing a big project in the house, and it was so beastly hot. And so, yeah, we didn't come out and weed like we should have. But we are getting a few green peppers. I've picked one. We've gotten quite a few hot peppers, which I need to, still need to process those and get them in the freezer. But I've got 4 green pepper plants and 2 jalapeno pepper plants here. I was going to plant something else here, but I just never got a chance to get back to the garden store. We've got 1 volunteer tomato coming up right there. No idea what kind it is. And this is all stuff that Travis needs to come out here and mow around here too. These are early girl tomato plants, and they're doing really, really well. We have picked a few off, and you can see there's some that are starting to get red. So these are mainly for eating, like just table tomatoes. And then here are our cucumbers. I think I planted, there's 2 hills, and I think there were 3 plants, or 2 to 3 plants in each hill. And we've been getting a ton of cucumbers. As you can see, I need to come out and pick again. This one's too big for pickles. And I've got a few that are about the right size for pickles. So I'll be out here later today harvesting cucumbers again. I was just out here, I don't know, 2 days ago, I think. And then we've got some cantaloupes coming on. Quite a few cantaloupes. I just planted 1 hill, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow! Looks like 9 melons. That's good. They did terrible last year. And then we got some watermelons going. All of those are watermelons. There's tons of them on there. They're not ready yet. They're not ripe yet. And then we've got about 6 rows of corn, which my dad said, another chicken. My dad said he didn't think they were doing very well, but from my just looking, it looks like each stalk has at least 1 ear. So I think we'll get some, I think. And then we've got black-eyed peas next. I don't know, 4 rows of black-eyed peas. We just had half a row of green beans, and they didn't do very well at all. Black-eyed peas, I don't know. I can see some blossoms in there. So I don't know how we're going to do with that. And then over here I've got a whole big bed of tomatoes. We've got Roma tomatoes and then Celebrity. And it looks like this one might be getting some of that blight. I'm going to have to come out here and prune that one back. So I'm just hoping I get enough tomatoes to do some spaghetti sauce. I don't know. It's been a very disheartening year for homesteading for me. We've got a zucchini plant here that looks like it's starting to die, and then we've got a yellow squash plant here, which I can see one back in there. And then our raised bed, which we had lettuces and radishes in, did absolutely horrible. My dad wasn't thinking that, see, some friends of his built this for him, and they brought it out, they set it up, and they filled it with like Miracle-Gro potting soil, not real dirt or garden soil. It was just potting soil. And last year we had, the lettuces and the radishes and everything just did fantastic in here. So then Dad didn't even think about the fact that because it's so high up off the ground, whatever nutrients were in the soil through last year using it, and all fall, winter, spring, the rain and snow washing it away, this is basically no nutrients left in this soil. And so this is what we got. Nothing grew. Everything that did grow went to seed without producing anything. And so the kids and I are just going to come out and clean this out and throw this stuff over to the chickens. And if we decide to do any kind of a fall crop in here, we're going to have to put a lot of fertilizer on here. I'd like to do the organic fertilizer, because I'd like to grow my stuff as organically as possible. There are the young ones. Those are the ones that are Alice's siblings. One there, and they're like all over. They were all bunched together, but there's one. There's Bo. He's guarding the chickens. He does this all the time. He'll sit out here and just be by the chickens and chase things off that will possibly hurt them. Don't you, buddy? You're a good boy. Hi, buddy. You're a good boy. You are such a good boy. Tell them. Tell the people. Tell the people what a good boy you are. Yes. Yes. What are you doing? You can't jump on me. You can't jump on me. You're such a good boy. Yes. You're such a good boy. Reinhardt. Reinhardt. I got something for you. Come on. Hi, buddy. This is Trav's charge. He is a fully intact buck. He has lived on this property his whole life. He was born right here in this barn and has never been off of this property or out of this yard. And he is very calm, and I wouldn't say exactly friendly, but he is not aggressive at all. But Travis takes care of him because you have to just give fully intact bucks a lot of respect. And he has huge horns, as you can see, and he has never once ever tried to be aggressive to anybody, but you just never know. You never know. And I can smell him towards the beginning of September into early fall. They go into a rutting season, and even though there are no females around here, the guys don't realize it. And he'll start to stink worse, and boy, those chickens are making a lot of noise. And yeah, you can smell him all over the place, but we like him. And he's old, or I'm not exactly sure how old he is, 10 years at least. And so he's got a home here for life, even though he doesn't have any companion. His companions died. We'll keep him, because I know that nobody would really want him. We could try to sell him at the sale barn or whatever, and they'd just kill him, probably for his horns. So we're going to keep him. And when he dies, he's going to be buried, and that'll be the end of our goats. There's the mama with all her babies. And of course they went behind the burning barrel. But yeah, she's got a ton of them. I injured myself, don't know how. But yeah, I just dumped that pool. Oh, that's how I did. I cut it on the edge of that stupid pool. But I dumped it, and they love to play in the mud while the pool's filling up. Still need to fill that one up. I wish we could afford to have someone come in and build like one of those really fancy duck ponds that has like its own filtration system, and they would just always have a pond to swim in that wasn't gross. But yeah, that's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. We lost one pool. That one over there got a hole in it, so we're going to have to get rid of that somehow. So they're down to 2. I know you guys like to watch my ducks, so I'll just throw on a little music and let you watch them for a while. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little walk around update on my garden and my animals. Pepper! I've been gone a whole 10 minutes. She thinks I've been gone forever. It's not quiet living in the country. You can hear the chickens carrying on. Bear's barking because he wants Travis to come out and take care of him. Pepper thinks it's horrible that I'm out here without her, although she could go in the backyard. The doggy door is open. Oh my. Such is the life. But I do love my country life, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will talk to y'all later. Bye, friends.